Ladies and gentlemen, NATO alliance is a community built on values. But how many of us would be ready today to go to jail to defend these values, to show solidarity with the other people? It is an enormous pleasure and honor for me to have this opportunity to introduce to you a man who actually did it. A freedom fighter who was sent to jail twice. First in 1981, when General Jaruzelski introduced the martial law in Poland. And then in 1986, when he went for a hunger strike to show solidarity with his friend, a conscript who refused to oath to communist constitution. We should remember that this alliance is built not only to protect this kind of attitudes, but also to protect the values behind of them. And we should care about the people outside of the alliance who are still ready to go to prison, to fight, to shed blood, to defend independence, freedom, human rights, and human dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Poland's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jacek Czaputowicz.
Thank you, Director, for this very kind introduction, referring also to my private time of 80s. But today, of course, I will refer to current situation concerning security and particularly, as you said, birthday party and commemoration of 20th anniversary of Polish membership in that organization. But let me just, ladies and gentlemen, start by saying that it's a great pleasure to be here at this gathering and to celebrate this important moment, a time when NATO turns 70 years young, while Poland and some other countries in the region celebrate 20th NATO membership anniversary. On the 12th of March 1999, Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary joined NATO. The moment marked a culmination of efforts of millions of people on the wrong side of the Iron Curtain at that time, dreaming of liberty and freedom to escape the shackles of communism. It was a moment in which our nations eventually returned to their rightful place in Europe and in the world. We have crossed a turning point in our history. For this reason, today we are proud to say that Poland's anniversary is NATO's anniversary. Our achievement is NATO's achievement. Our journey to NATO led through the victory of Solidarity movement, the collapse of the Warsaw Pact, and the withdrawal of Russian troops from Poland. It led through long negotiations and years of making case that our place is in NATO. The recently passed Prime Minister Jan Olszewski first made this case in 1992. In 1999, Foreign Minister Bronisław Geremek, on behalf of Poland, passed the accession protocol to the representatives of the United States in its role as a depositary for the North Atlantic Treaty. The contribution of these two statesmen is a testimony of their deep, spanning across party lines conviction that Poland belongs to the transatlantic community. It is symbolic that they rest close to each other at the Powązki Military Cemetery. I welcome here Madam Secretary Madeleine Albright, who at that day in independence received our ratification instrument. Madam, it is an honor to have you here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, as it is the case with people, our anniversaries are moments to reflect on how far we have come, on what lies ahead, and on how we should shape the future of the transatlantic relationship. At the age of 70 of our allies has gone through many trials and turned many corners. Today it is different. In many respects, we are facing the same or similar threats we faced before. Aggressive policies, missile postures, disregard for international law and territorial sovereignty. On the other hand, new challenges like terrorism, hybrid, disinformation have no precedent. Despite all this, it is fair to say that the organizing principles of transatlantic relationship laid at the foundation of NATO 70 years ago are still relevant today. These are unity, solidarity, and resolve. Ladies and gentlemen, on unity, delivering security to its members and bringing stability beyond its borders requires an alliance that is at peace within. Our unity means harmony, a band of instruments that are built differently, that sound differently, but playing together form a piece of music. This unity allowed us to build bridges across the Atlantic in spite of a range of different interests and priorities. This unity has our trademark and security of pride and strength for the last 70 years. Today, when the number of allies is about to reach 30 and the times are uncertain, our task has to be to continue engaging in dialogue and debate based on this very principle. In the spirit of the Latin inscription of the wall of the North Atlantic Council room, animus in consulendo liber, we need not focus on our disagreements, which have been, are, and will be a natural thing among free nations, but rather, through debate and consultations, forge answers that will work for all of us. Now on solidarity. The strongest alliance in the world could not have survived without the principle of solidarity, best reflected in Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty. We are here celebrating our common achievement exactly because of this principle. As all of you know, solidarity has a special place in the history of Poland and in the history of Europe. It is also what lies at the core of the alliance. In 1949, President Truman, in his speech at the signing ceremony of the Washington Treaty, said that the creation of NATO was a neighborly act. In his words, the allies were like a group of householders living in the same locality who decide to express their community of interest by entering in a formal association of their mutual self-protection. 70 years later, we face challenges, old and new, spanning across many regions and in many dimensions. But our locality has grown and continues to thrive. We are stronger because we have neighbors in our transatlantic community. Truman got it right. Neighborly solidarity is critical for the future of transatlantic relationship, for the security of Poland and for the security of all NATO countries. That is why Poland continues to support all of the allies across NATO, be it in the east or south, in Latvia, in Lithuania, in Romania, in Kosovo, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, Indeed, over the years, we participated in almost all NATO missions and operations. Participation in these efforts to bring stability to troubled regions helped us to transform our military forces. Their experience and preparedness has grown enormously. We learned how to effectively cooperate with our allies in the field, increasing interoperability among our forces. We learned how to adapt to challenging conditions, and expand our military know-how. But more importantly, we build long-lasting friendship that will galvanize our cooperation for years to come. That sense of solidarity is also the reason why NATO needs to keep its door open. Our partners, also in Georgia and Ukraine, deserve our open mind and an opportunity to join it. The example of countries that so far joined the alliance, including Poland, proves beyond doubt that accession can bring stability, progress, and prosperity. In the years to come, we have to grow accustomed to the fact that new threats do not recognize borders, remoteness, or proximity. We have to manage them simultaneously, united in sync, often stretching our resources to the limit. And the only way we can do this is by being good neighbors, by helping each other, by staying true to our commitments, including in defense investment area. Now on resolve. Over the last 7 decades, another source of NATO's strength was the resolve and ability of its members to adapt to the demands of constantly changing security environment. In our 20 years experience with the most successful security organization in the world, we observed firsthand how the environment we live in changed from the years of peace dividend to the period of instability we are at today. After the annexation of Crimea and Russia's continued policy of militarization, intimidation, and aggression on its neighbors, in view of growing threats stemming from instability in the Middle East and other regions, NATO must continue down the path laid out at the summits in Newport, Warsaw, and Brussels. NATO's adaptation process cannot stop, as the threats we face constantly evolve, and our credibility rests on our ability to deal with them. The alliance must continue adjusting its defense and deterrence capabilities. We have done our homework and identified issues to move forward. We need to be focused on making our air, sea, and land forces properly equipped and trained. Our readiness and ability to swiftly move our forces must be ensured beyond doubt. Our command structure must be ready to promptly and effectively respond to all potential threats. We need to find better ways to deal with hybrid threats, threats in the cyber domain, terrorism, and disinformation. It is encouraging we make progress in all of these areas. But as life teaches us, none of this can happen without a junction of our policies, military capabilities, and resources. That is what the idea of burden sharing is about. And that is why it is key to continue developing EU-NATO cooperation to foster synergies in our expertise and capabilities, instead of duplicating efforts and sowing unnecessary confusion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me stress again my strong belief that these 3 organizing principles, unity, solidarity, and resolve, lay at the heart of what we are and why we are here. I am equally convinced that adherence to them is the foundation of our success in the future. These principles are the reason why our relationship is so special. These principles stand at the cornerstone of peace, stability, and our prosperity. The 20 years of our membership in NATO and the 15 years of the European Union have reinforced our standing among Western democracies, bringing security and prosperity to millions of people. Today, when we open the next 20 years of our relationship, we must remember that we need each other. The United States needs Europe just as Europe needs the United States. Together, not separately, we will be able to protect our values and defend our freedom. Thank you very much.